Okay, I'm going to do a quick tutorial on lighting in SourceSDK because Neo keeps bugging me. Where is he? There he is. And I haven't got one. So, tutorial on it. Alright, so first of all, basic types of lighting. All lights in Hammer are entities. So let's get the entity tool, make a new entity. We see if we have a person, and then we'll set the name of the entity to light. Now that's the very first and basic light. Okay. So let's drag this up a little bit. We see we have a few basic properties. Most important is brightness. That's the color and brightness HDR. When you have the HDR run, you can change it slightly just to give a bit of a different blend of colors. Okay, and then the appearance. That's how you want the light to appear. So if you want a candle type light or a fast strobe or something similar to that, then have that on. Otherwise, if you want just a still light that's always on, have it normal. And then the important things, you want the 50% fallout distance. So say if we have 128 and then 256, that's the distance that the light will travel. You see on the right here we have these rings. We can expand them or enter the values manually. I usually have the 50%, about half the value is the 100%, unless I want quite a low light but the light to go for quite a while, if you want sort of an eerie effect but not have it pitch black. Alright, there we go. Maximum distance as well, you set to what you had for 0%. So there we go, that's the first type of light. That's just the normal light entity. Second one I'm going to look at is light spot. Light spot's pretty commonly used in the case, say I'm just building one here at the moment for this light I have. Alright, and to use this can be a little confusing because it's a little more advanced than the normal light, and if you don't set it up properly it just will refuse to work. Okay, first of all, set the brightness. I'm just going to select a nice blue and then a bit of a darker blue for HDR. 50% fall off distance. You want to have this pretty high, otherwise the light's not going to reach the length of where it's pointing. It depends on how far you want it to point, and bear in mind that also you won't see an effect coming out of the light as if it's pointing. You'll need a point_spotlight for that, which I'll go over in a few seconds. Okay, now it's important you set the quadratic. Usually about 1000 is enough for a small little room that I've got here. If you want a bigger area, you want maybe a few thousand. Okay, say a street light maybe have 2000 or 3000. Let's set the maximum distance. Okay, and then we want to position it. Now if you enter the values manually in here, so say we had 45, 45, 45, like that, remember that you need to set the pitch. It's very, very important you set the pitch. Okay, and that is the first value of the three values that you put into the pitch your roll. Okay, the Y value. Now we can actually set it where point at, so say we wanted to look around here and point at the top corner here, we click and there you go, now it's nicely positioned. Now it has this huge skirt around it for illustration purposes, and that's controlled by the inner and outer fading angles. So let's have I don't know, 23 and 21, quite a bright spotlight. Okay, if we want the middle to be slightly less bright, then we can lower the inner angle, and there you go, that's light spot. Now as I mentioned earlier, if you want the actual effect of the spotlight, you'll need a point_spotlight, sorry. So we're going to copy this entity and then we'll have a point spotlight. Now you want to match the color. I'm not going to bother for this tutorial, but it's pretty important when you actually make it. Okay, again we want to copy over the angles, but you have to reverse them, but you know, I can't be asked to do that at the moment, so we're going to point at the same place. There you go, and that's pretty much it. You can fool around with it for hours trying to get it exactly on, but for the purpose of this tutorial that's fine. Few things on point spotlight. Make sure you set the color the same. The spotlight length and width you have to determine from how far the light will shine. Okay, you can work that out. If you click and drag on the map, you see that there's about 200 or 300 in distance total, so maybe if we have 100, then that'll give us a nice beam. And also the width must be relative to what you put for inner and outer angles, otherwise it will just look completely unrealistic. But there you go, that will produce a spotlight. So there we have the basic light and the light spot. Now the final one I'm just going to quickly go over is light underscore environment. Now light underscore environment will provide a general amount of light in the area that you put it. Okay, so it's good for outdoors if you just want to quickly light something without having any visible lights, say if it's daylight but a bit murky, a bit dull. And there you go. You know, you can play around with the angles for that and the light brightness and things, and that is lighting in SourceSDK.